you ever wondered if what we're seeing is even real? Objects, language, images, we tend to believe these show us the world as it truly is. But René Magritte cracks that belief open with a single painting of a pipe. And that crack doesn't just end there. Familiar things get placed in unfamiliar ways. And his work leads us to one question, a question that echoes through the philosophy of Jean Baudrillard and eventually reaches the red pill scene in The Matrix. Let's take a look at where it all started. In the Treachery of images, there's a pipe with the words, "This is not a pipe." That looks like a joke at first, but if you dig a little deeper, you start to realize he is actually right. Because this is not an actual pipe. You can't pack it with tobacco. You can't smoke it. It's just an image. The word pipe isn't the object itself either. Think about it. Why do we call it a pipe? Why not an orange or a tiger? It could have been called anything else, and nothing would have changed. Take a dog, for example. In English, it's called a dog. In Korean, it's gay. In German, it's hund. The animal stays exactly the same, only the word changes. There's no natural connection between a word and the thing it refers to. It's just an agreement we've all made as a society. In The Key of Dreams, Magritte deliberately breaks that connection. He pairs images with words that don't belong together to make you realize how arbitrary that relationship really is. And his question goes deeper. If images and words aren't the thing itself, then what exactly is it that we call reality? Let's take a look at this painting. There's a door and an easel. The painting on the easel lines up perfectly with the view outside. So naturally, we just assume that the canvas is showing us what's outside the door. The canvas represents human perception, while the world outside the door stands for what we believe is reality. By seamlessly connecting the two, Magritte raises a fundamental question about how we see the world. We like to think we experience the world directly, but in fact what we're actually getting is a filtered version, shaped by our senses, memories, language, culture, and experiences. And that's exactly why this series is called The Human Condition. The questions Magritte raised would later echo in the philosophy of Jean Baudrillard. He argued that images no longer just represent reality. They've started to replace it. Think about it. We don't experience most of what happens in the world firsthand. We learn about it through news clips, videos, and social media. And that becomes the reality we know. You can also see this idea in one of the most famous films, The Matrix. At the beginning of the film, there's a scene where Neo is in his room holding a book. Can you spot it here? That's Jean Baudrillard's Simulacra and Simulation. Throughout the film, there are scenes that echo Magritte's work. On his way to see the oracle, a young monk says to Neo,
"Dad, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?"
There is no spoon."
Later, after Neo takes the red pill, Morpheus challenges everything Neo believes about the world.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
In the end, Morpheus's words reveal just how fragile our idea of reality is. And Magritte was already exploring that idea decades earlier on canvas. His work isn't really painting in the traditional sense. It feels more like a philosophical question. In fact, he's known for spending more time developing ideas and concepts than actually painting. While many artists of his time gathered in cafes and bars, chasing a bohemian lifestyle, Magritte lived a very ordinary life. He wore a suit every day, painted in the corner of his living room. And strangely enough, that ordinary life is where his ideas came from. He took familiar objects, a bowler hat, an apple, a suit, and placed them in unexpected contexts, making us question the things we usually take for granted. This technique is called dépaysement. His approach was shaped by two major art movements of the time. One was Dadaism. They questioned whether art even had to be beautiful, and shook up the entire art establishment by doing things like displaying a urinal as art, or randomly gluing scraps of newspaper together. The other was Surrealism. Just like Salvador Dalí painted melting clocks, Surrealists tried to bring dreams and the unconscious onto the canvas. Magritte took both and blended them into his own visual language. Perhaps through his paintings, Magritte was trying to teach us how to ask questions. That's why his paintings become stranger the longer you look at them. Not because they show us something new, but because they make us look at things we thought so used to, we stopped thinking about them a long time ago. And the moment we start questioning those familiar things, the world no longer looks quite the same. Thanks for watching. If there's a painting you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.